So, the day I almost lost my life. Stitch this. It's so weird why every time I tell this story, I get chills. Like, okay, here we go. I'm just gonna jump into it. Okay, so I woke up that morning, got ready for the day. It was your average school day. I think it was a Wednesday. So I'm getting ready. I wake up, brush my teeth, listen to some music, try to get like excited for the day, because going to school in high school, just waking up that early, I'm not a morning person. I'm listening to some music, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm getting ready, and I'm not in too much of a hurry. I know I can get there in time, but I had, my first class was basketball. So I got on my basketball stuff, I bring my basketball, I got my basketball shoes in there. Like on these days, I didn't even need a pencil. I was excited for the day, just excited to see everyone. Didn't think anything different was gonna happen that day. Get to my car, open it, and I see that it had rained like during the night, so I was kind of, in the back of my head, I was like, okay, I knew in my head, I was like, hey, drive a little slower. Like that's obviously what I thought. I get in my car, I'm driving, and I see that I have like 15 minutes, and it takes like 15 minutes to get to school, so I was probably gonna be a little late to my basketball class. I'm driving, and I take this right turn, and there's this like white truck in front of me, and I kind of like, it was going really slow, like 30 miles an hour, and it was in a 50, so I passed him, and but it was 2 lanes, so I didn't have to go in the other lane to pass him. So I passed him, and then first thing you have to do, like I have to go down this huge hill, right? It's kind of windy, it's kind of steep. The speed limit was 50 miles per hour. And I had told myself to drive a little slower, and I had usually gone down that hill going like 60. Like, I'll be honest, like I went over the speed limit sometimes to get to school faster, but I start going down the hill, everything's fine. Wait. Pause for a second. 3 days prior, I had gone and got my tires replaced because I was driving on bald tires. Like, I was too scared to tell my dad because it was gonna be expensive, and I didn't want my dad to worry about money or stress about it, so I just like drove. Being 16, I didn't really think that it was that big of a deal, but one of my back tires was completely bald. Like it had like the wire showing on the inside. But then I had finally told him, and we got the tires replaced. Back to the story. So I'm driving, and I'm driving down, and then I'm coming up on the last like turn to get down to there's a stoplight at the bottom of the hill, and there's these two patches in the road, like one right here, and then I would say another 15 feet, and then there was another one, and they're both bald. Like, so like say the road's like this, and then it kind of like went under like this much, and then it like went back up. So they were just like patches that I think they had probably once upon a time said stop ahead or something, but they were so worn down that they were like gone, and they're on both sides of the road, or not on that side of the road, but like in both lanes, so like this and this, you know. And so I'm driving, and then I came across that first patch, right, and I felt that the back, I was driving a BMW, a 328 IS, right, 1997, and the back tires, I felt them kind of jump, so it was kind of like this, it was kind of like. And then in my head, I was like, did I just lose traction? And then, but when I jumped, it went like this, and we just went back to normal. So I was like, oh, I'm fine. But then I hit that second one, and here, I'm gonna use my phone as the example. So I hit that second one, right? The first one just made me jump and then go back, and then I hit that second one, and it threw me this way. So now I was like completely sideways in the other lane, because I was in the far lane over here. Threw me like sideways like this, and me being 16, I didn't know necessarily how to drift, because your average 16-year-old doesn't drift, right? Like, you're supposed to, I guess, go with it and kind of like steer, you know. So you're supposed to steer with it, right? But me being 16, I just was like, oh, I need to get back into my lane, so I turned back to the right. And for some reason, that made my car go from here to here, just like that. So it went like this. And there's this, I was going into oncoming traffic backwards, down this hill, backwards. So I'm like looking up and I'm like, crap, and I'm like trying to pump the brakes, but it's all like happening so fast that I don't know. So I'm heading into oncoming traffic backwards. Next thing I know, it's just like, it just was this loudest like metal just crunching and it hitting. There was this like, the guardrail that was made out of cement, and then there was like a 50-foot cliff. As soon as that smack happened, I just felt like this, like kind of like on my side kind of thing. So it rolled once in the air, landed down, and then rolled again on the ground and just landed perfectly. When I landed, it kind of like went like this, and then I landed and I was just like, what? Like I just like, and then I looked around and I was just like, what the heck just happened? And then I saw that white truck that I had passed. He stopped, got out of his car and came over here, and I'm just sitting there with my hand on the steering wheel, just like so in shock. And I looked behind me, and like right here was my trunk's like emblem. And the guy from the truck came over to me and he was like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, is the car okay? And he was like, no, it's not okay. Like, it's totaled. And I was like, crap. And it wasn't even my car, it was my brother's car. And so I felt really bad, and I just like, not 1 second did I ever think of me. I couldn't get out, so I had to like kick open the door. So I like kicked open the door and got out, and I just looked at the car and I was just like, what the heck? Like, I wanted to go to school. I wanted to go play basketball, you know? So I was just like sitting there. I tried to call my mom, she didn't answer. I tried to call my dad, he didn't answer. And so I had to call my grandpa, and I had to tell him. And obviously I was really upset. And so he came down immediately, called my mom. She was like, what's up? And then I was just like, okay, I am completely okay. I am 100% okay, but I just crashed the car. She just immediately broke down, and I was like kind of yelling at her. I was like, Mom, stop, I'm completely okay. And she was just like crying and like, because I don't like to hear my mom cry, and no one likes to hear their mom cry. If you do, shame on you. Back to the car crash. I landed, right? And when he asked me if I was okay, I kind of was like, the second time he asked me, I was like, well, everything went white, so I think I hit my head. But my windshield was broken, but like my window right here wasn't broken. But I was like, oh, I think I hit my head on my window or something, because everything went white. And I looked down at my hand, this little scar right here. So that little scar, I was bleeding pretty bad, and my whole hand was kind of like bloody, but I thought I hit my head. So when the cops came, and like the fire truck came as well, and you know what's weird is the cop was like,
hey, you know I could give you a ticket for this?
And I just looked at him and I was like, I sure hope you don't. Like, I just lost my car. And he kind of just, that was just like even my grandpa was like, why the heck did he have to say that? Like, you just you just rolled 115 feet. Like, and you tell me, oh, I could give you a ticket for this, for impeding traffic. I'm like, what? And as he was telling me that, another car was coming down the hill, and they lost traction. And luckily they gained traction, or they probably would have hit us, because we were all on this other side. So that kind of like showed everyone like, okay, like there's something like up, you know, the road is really slippery. Obviously I said I was fine, I just think I hit my head because everything went white. Like, I don't even remember like rolling. They were like, my grandpa was like, okay, let's get all your stuff. We can go to the hospital, get you like a head scan, which, an x-ray or whatever it's called. We went to the hospital. After like cleaning everything up, they put it on the tow truck, and it was just like, the car was so crunchy. But we went to the hospital and we got a scan, right? They did the whole thing, and even the doctor like checked my head for like bumps, and I was like, there's nothing there. Like, I don't get it. And then they came back with the results, and they were like, no, they're like, your head's completely fine. Like, you don't have a concussion, a slight concussion. You don't even have a headache. And so I was just like, I was so confused on why everything went white, and I don't know if people think I'm weird, but when I say everything went white, like it literally everything went white in my head, and like I literally felt like I was being like hugged. My whole car, if you could see by this picture, if it's up on the screen right now, the whole car was smashed except for my driver's seat. My driver's seat, the roof was completely intact, just right above me. Like it was kind of to a point. Like, but everything on this side was like here level, like just smashed. Even now, that gives me the chills just like talking about it. But I didn't go home. I actually went to school. We were supposed to, it was during finals week, and in May or something, and it was during finals, and one of my last class, we were like studying for the English test, and I was like, that was like my hardest class, and so I had to go. Everyone was like, where you been, you know, like, and I was just like, oh, I just rolled my car. I think everyone kind of reacted more than I did, you know. I was kind of just like, yeah, it happened, like I'm bummed, and everyone was kind of like, oh, you could have died. And so me in my head, that made me even more mentally messed up. Like I was like, whoa, like I could have died. Like, and so at that moment, during that time in my life, I was kind of like, I pushed like everyone away, and I was just like, I got so focused in what I wanted to do. It made me more motivated to get what I want. It was a bad thing that happened at a good time. It kind of woke me up. Yeah, that's the day. So that's the day that I almost lost my life. I'm sorry if this was a little too depressing. I wanted to share it just because not only do I want to tell you guys, but I also wanted to tell myself, just kind of voice it out. Like, if it feels good to tell other people about it, and also kind of voice it out instead of just having it up here, you know. So do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you aren't subscribed. If you don't have a YouTube account, make a YouTube account, subscribe. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully my car's fixed by the next video, and I can go somewhere and show you guys somewhere new, or go have some fun with people. I don't know. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces, guys.